Hamza, how to look smacks. 3 additional fast tactics to get hotter girls. So I've been watching for Hamza in a while. I used to watch him, not anymore. Yes, I did. See kind of the allegation that he did. I mean, for me personally, he did some like bad stuff, but um, like I said, I know that like okay, it's part of his thing, like he's trying to do with the money and all that stuff. So let's try to react to this.
Private parts with a rock. That's not bone smashing, Jeffrey. Not that bone. That can help young Jeffrey.
I mean, he is referring to Clav. I recently kind of heard him off of the news that also did some bad things too.
To
However,
become
let's
more attractive. Adonis. Adonis is the master of looks maxing. He gets his report card back from Wheat Waffles. Ah, yes. 50 out of 10. He is the most handsome man on the planet. And of course, that helps him with the ladies. But it's not just looks maxing that Adonis has done. When Adonis had free time, there were other things that he leveled up that has also helped him greatly. I hear all the time that some of you who watch my videos didn't even realize you weren't subscribed to this channel. So if you can do me a favor and just double check that you're subscribed to this channel, I'd be so grateful. It's the simple and free thing that anyone who watches my videos frequently can do to help my work here. It helps keep everything going, so please just double check that you're subscribed, and I appreciate you for being here. Looks maxing is where you improve your appearance because of the halo effect. The halo effect is quite simply where people will treat you better just because you are more attractive. When I was in high school, I studied.
Yes, this is true. The halo effect is true. Basically, if you're more attractive, more good looking, you'll be able to be more respected. There are studies that show more attractive people make more money. They see him as more intelligent. They see him as more kind of like nice, trustworthy. Someone who is not as attractive will be seen as kind of very negative and bad. Um, Looks maxing is definitely common. Right now, it's been getting harder every year, which is kind of the increase in the competition today. So.
Psychology, and there was this experiment that we studied where the researchers would get 2 women. One was slim and beautiful and the other was fat and ugly, and both women at different times would have a heavy suitcase that they were trying to take up this big flight of stairs, and the researchers calculated the percentage of how many people walked past them and how many people actually helped them. And before I tell you the result, just be honest.
So, yes, there was actually a video of it, and obviously when I saw it, it was like I was like, yeah, of course, because the more attractive person, because the eye would just go straight to the beautiful person. Then
If
I
you
don't.
saw these 2 women, which one would you stop to help? And don't fuck it. I bet she has a really nice personality, But fat girls give really good head, bro. Stop coping. Let's be honest. If you had the confidence to, you would prefer to help the girl who is more attractive because we just want to be kinder to people who are more hot. It's just that simple. The world is shallow. It's stupid, fair enough. But this is the world that we live in. This is the game that we are playing. And so if we have to play this game, we may as well win the game. That's where looks maxing comes in. To get onto looks maxing, you take a real calculation of your physical appearance and you see what you can do to improve that. One of the first things you can do is improve your body, so build an aesthetic body by focusing on the 7 aesthetic muscles that we'll have on screen right now. Just make sure that your workout routine has enough sets and volume for these ones. I actually built my own.
So going to the gym is obviously the most common part. So there's definitely kind of like basic looks maxing, soft maxing, working out, eating a clean diet, etc. And then hard maxing is mostly on more plastic surgery, more changes to kind of like your genetic traits, or if you have any inferior genetic traits that you can do with hard maxing. Obviously, the gym is the most common. It's very low barrier entry. What do I also say? I feel like if you're in this space, it's very highly more competitive. So I mean, obviously, try to do it for your health. But however, in terms of this video and looks maxing, most of the time they're not doing it for their health. They're mostly doing it on aesthetics, which I honestly I understand because you want to be more respected and stuff. But however, trying to kind of like watch like your health. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to bulk up, gain as much muscle as possible. Try to do my own protocol. I'll definitely kind of like talk more about it, my self improvement channel. So yeah.
Workout routine, which is what built my natural aesthetic body. And I've got a full course which breaks down everything you need to know about building the physique, because it's one of the biggest things you can do to improve your looks. The other massive thing you can do to improve your looks is to improve your face. Mewing is fundamental, and that's basically proper breath posture. And it's simply that you breathe from your nose, not your mouth, and you place your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Being a mouth breather makes you uglier. And the secret problem is you might not even realize you're a mouth breather. Most people are.
I mean, mewing is definitely common sense. Where you would definitely see as the best results is lowering body fat percentage, and definitely have a very good bone structure. Looks maxing, they talk about it very heavily on bone structure, especially the bone structure when you kind of relate it to height, and in terms of working out, lowering the body fat percentage would be the one thing, right?
Actually mouth breathers through the night when you're asleep and you can't really control it. So the thing you can do is to actually tape your mouth shut at nighttime with something called micro pore tape. You can go find it on Amazon or in pharmacies. It's super cheap and it's safe to use. And when you tape your mouth shut at nighttime, you'll be basically mewing for free for like 8 hours a night. And then you can lose body fat so your face is more angular. You can get a beard and a haircut style that suits you. And then you can even improve your fashion. These things are so valuable to do, and you will notice so many more girls will be looking at you, messaging you. And most of all, you'll start to take more pride in your appearance, which I think is a very good thing. But when you're ready to make more progress, there are other things you can do beyond looks maxing to increase like how sexually attractive you are to the opposite sex. Because let's just be honest, like, don't fucking cope. We're doing looks maxing to be more attractive to women. You're probably like me, you fucking hate when guys start coping and saying like, no, I'm not doing it for women, I'm just doing it for myself. I'm not going to the gym for women, I'm just doing it for myself. I'm not doing this for women, I'm just doing it for myself. Yeah, but the women are for you though. Just admit that it's okay to work hard to be more attractive to the opposite sex. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. That just means you're fucking straight. Congratulations. But so many guys will be like, no, I don't go.
I mean, I kind of 100% agree with this because obviously, back then we didn't have to go to the gym. We didn't have to looks max because it was easier to get to more relationships. But now it's like you got to do everything. You got to spit game. You got to make the money, be respected, status. I feel like, definitely as the years come by, it's going to be definitely more harder, more competitive. So, you shouldn't focus on like the one aspect looks maxing, but focus heavily on looks maxing, on the game, money, status, basically everything, so that, and I won't judge people for, doing this because, like I said, they want to improve their life, they want to change, they don't want to go back to kind of being, bottom tier, and not get anything out of life, and then they want to kind of like fulfill their full potential, which I understand that. So
Go to the gym for other girls. I don't dress like this for girls. I don't do anything for girls. I'm not wasting my time on girls. Fag. So there are some other things you can work on where you'll find that so many more girls will be into. And the first one is actually the abundance mindset. Abundance mindset is you having the belief and acting like you are already sexually fulfilled in your life. When you act needy, especially in a sexual way, it is really repulsive to girls. And the reason why, it's like this biological thing. If a girl can tell you are not getting laid and she can sense your desperation, she gets like the ick and sort of revolted away from you because she thinks, oh wait, every other girl in the world has chosen not to sleep with him, so it's probably the safe option for me to just decide that as well. Now, if you flip the script on that and you act in a way like you're already getting laid, which you might not be, by the way, but you can just fake it till you make it. But if you act like you've got abundance, it's way more attractive to women because then their brain thinks, whoa, like he's not needy at all.
I mean, definitely mindset is obviously 100% key. If you have the mindset, if you take the action, I feel like with the action, you could definitely see the results like this one.
He's probably attracting girls and getting laid. Other girls want to sleep with him. Why? Well, he is actually pretty attractive. And see, they start thinking positive, attracting things about you. And so the way that I like to teach abundance mindset to young guys who ask me for advice is to visualize the double blowjob. So just imagine this. Imagine you have your absolute 10 out of 10 in front of you. Just imagine what she looks like. Imagine this is like build a bear workshop, but for women. Build a bitch workshop. Imagine you just build her in your mind right now. What does your 10 look like? And just imagine her on her knees in front of you. And then click your fingers and spawn another one. So now you've got 2 of your 10 out of 10s. Now imagine that both of them are giving you a double blowjob. Like imagine both of them are sucking your dick at the same time. Imagine now that this is the highest level of abundance you could have, where right here, right now, you have 2 of your 10 out of 10 girls who are literally being sexual with you. Now ask yourself, how would you behave with the girl that you're currently texting? Imagine you've been texting this girl to organize for a date today, and she says, "Oh no, I can't come today, I'm really sorry." How would you respond to that if you are currently getting head from 2 of your 10 out of 10 girls? How would you respond to the girl who just cancelled you? Well, you'd be like, "Oh, well, yeah, no problem." You probably wouldn't even reply.
Maybe I would care less.
You wouldn't even see your phone. You wouldn't really give a shit because right now you're already having fun. And that's so different to how you'd respond to the girl who cancels on the date if you didn't do this visualization and she was the only girl you're talking to and you would be messaging her, "Oh no, come on, can't you just try and you just come anyway, you can make it and you can make it work." And now her
I think definitely abundance mindset. I can see how it's good, especially like there's a lot of girls like if you get rejected, it's okay, but just grind and like come to the next one. I've been into the POA dating gaming space, like the spitting game, for more years than I was looks maxing, and since I kind of mastered the mouthpiece spitting game, now I want to go to more of the looks maxing, put more years into it, and then also improve on my money and my status, which I can improve on my status by spitting game, social charisma, and all that stuff. So since I finished one aspect, it's recommended that you want to go all out on one aspect first. This is kind of the mistake that I did. Just in the beginning, I wanted to do all these things, but then I tried to do them all at the same time, but I didn't see making progress. Now I watch the video and realize, hey, I need to focus on one thing at a time. So I focused on one thing at a time, and I was able to make way more progress than focusing everything at the same time. Because once you, let's say, master one thing, then okay, let's move on to the next thing. Because we already mastered that one thing, and then kind of do it again. So I can see why mindset is key, something like that. Um, if you're very but you would have to see the results, and you have to be very competent. Because if you have that positive feedback, if you're very competent, then, like I said, the mindset, you can be able to kind of validate the mindset, and then, like I said, your mindset is gonna grow. So
valid reason of cancelling on you changes to her belief of you of like, "Oh yeah, he's actually kind of ugly, he's actually kind of unattractive, he's just needy." Whenever you're interacting with a girl, visualize the double blowjob and then ask yourself, how would you behave towards that girl? Because imagine if you're texting some girl that you know is pretty low quality, and then she's like being disrespectful or she flakes or whatever, you wouldn't give a shit because you've already got 2 hot girls in front of you. But now imagine if you had a girl who you genuinely believe is really high quality and she's like upset about something, you would still want to go and be with her because she's a high quality girl. Do you see how this works? Not just for like lust, but actually for how you'd behave even in a relationship. Because if you care about your woman and she needs your help, or if she's hurt by something, then you'd go and help her, even if you were sort of like visualizing this double blowjob situation. But for most guys, they're in a scarcity mindset, and that's what fucks them up because it makes them seem so needy, so desperate, and that's such a turn off for women. So visualize the double blowjob. The second thing you can do to add into your looks maxing journey is to learn about female nature. Basically learn red pill. Red pill is learning about female nature and how to basically become more of like the alpha male so that girls want to have sex with you. And the red pill has like a really bad reputation online because
So I remember the red pill. I've definitely watched a lot of red pills since high school, and it definitely helped me, kind of like talking to girls more. It's basically more of like the social aspect. Um,
It's like toxic and it's full of all these influencers who are just like little degenerates and whatever. So what I would say to you is learn the fundamental philosophy of basically how do women act when it comes to sex. That's what the fundamental red pill knowledge will teach you. How do women behave sexually? And researching that will open your eyes because it will explain behavior that's happened to you or maybe happened to your friends. And you'll be like, oh, so that's why that one date I went on with that girl where it seemed like it was so good, but then she just ghosted me afterwards. That's why. So learn female nature. Actually, in the same program where you get my aesthetic body course, you also get my red pill course where I teach all of this if you wanted to pay for this, but you can probably go find something online for free as well. You probably don't want to get too deep in the red pill space online. I was lucky that when I was growing up, I happened to stumble upon what I call like the real red pill, which was like these old forums, which was anonymous, depersonalized, where guys would just
Yeah, don't get into the the red pill too much um because it definitely will change the belief that um like all women are the same, and your chances of getting into a relationship are definitely kind of like low because you're trying to kind of like make an assumption and you're trying to test her and play all these games. Like I said, highly recommend just being careful of that. I definitely kind of been into it way too much.
share
That's
advice
why it's
on
more
when
my
it
take. Okay.
came to women of like how to attract women and how to set boundaries and things like this, which was actually really controversial to speak about. But when you think about it, it's actually not that bad to say like, yeah, going to the gym makes you more attractive to women. Put your foot down and don't get disrespected by a girl who is flirting with another guy. This kind of stuff was kind of underground 10, 15 years ago. But the actual knowledge of the red pill, basically female nature, how women behave when it comes to sex, is so essential for men to learn. This will actually save you in the future from getting cheated on. It will save you in the future from getting divorced, from picking the wrong woman. These things are very important. The third thing that you can learn whilst you're on your looks maxing journey is relationship skills. So let's say you commit yourself to your looks maxing journey and you become more attractive. Then you start to visualize the double blowjob, which gives you this abundance mindset so you're no longer needy. You learn some things about female nature, so you start to be able to spot which girl is actually high quality and which girl pretends to be. And let's say now you end up getting a girlfriend. This is like some of the least spoken topic for men's dating advice is when you actually get a girlfriend, what should you do? At this point, it's so valuable for you to learn relationship skills. And one of the most fundamental parts of this is learn how to actually speak to feminine women, because the way to speak to a woman is actually so different than the way to speak to men and to your friends. And there's a book which is in plain English, which I really like. It's called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Have a read of that book, and in just the first chapter, it's quite engaging and you're like, oh shit, okay, so I've been speaking to girls wrong my entire life. That's a great book to start learning this kind of stuff. And if you want to take this to the next level, read the book The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. You learn these relationship skills when you actually have a girlfriend, and you will have such a happier time with her. I think doing these things alongside your looks maxing journey is absolutely essential, because what you don't want is that you get more attractive, there's girls who are into you, but then they kind of like lose attraction to you because they realize that you're kind of needy and you never even solve that weird psychological desperation that you've had for girls because you didn't get laid so far and you've been kind of desperate and whatever. So these other 3 things you can do will really add to your looks maxing journey. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah!
So the last point, it's kind of very important. Definitely having a relationship. Don't try to kind of be desperate. I definitely understand that. Yes, there's a lot of young men who, yes, have never been to a relationship and want to crave it, and then they try to act, desperate. Um, I hope it gets better. Not really, because like back then it was like a trend for red pill, then it was for black pill and stuff. I definitely do a lot of more videos and stuff. For my personal experience, I had no problem with getting women. Um, yes, I was honest that there were times where I got, you know, very kind of like desperate, and that's when I started to realize, okay, like I think what I'm doing is wrong, and I need to step back for a little. Um, I do want to get into like a very, I do want to get into like a relationship. I know that like, hey, there's like definitely most of the young men are here. It's like, hey, they don't want to like get with girls for the wrong reasons, but they just want to get like, love, just trying to get intimacy, just being fulfilled. And I can definitely see it getting worse, and that's why this whole looks maxing thing has been um, looks maxing the rest of us is not only very common, but it's going to be very more competitive. And when it's becoming very more competitive, then not only that we have to kind of compete in getting for girls, but we have to kind of get compete with getting through men first, and then trying to kind of like settle the deal with girls. So overall, this kind of like this video not bad. Obviously, this YouTuber like says the same thing over and over again, but like I mean, self improvement is like I definitely highly recommend it for everyone. And I feel like that also helped me as well. So I mean, that's it for the stream today. Didn't get one win from Apex, so hopefully tomorrow then I probably will get a win. So um, I'll see you guys.